What's going on, everybody? C4 here today, continuing with the Madden 18, Madden 17 roster reveal, and we'll be looking at the LA Rams. If you're new, you don't know what's going on, go check out the Philadelphia Eagles episode where I talk for the first 3 minutes, go in depth in explaining what's going on in these rosters. But for some cliff notes, basically these rosters, the ratings are based off of my opinion, Pro Football Focus for like the offensive line and cornerbacks. The ratings from, or the stats from last year. Every free agency move, well, I'd say 97%, I might have missed a couple, low-key ones, real low-key, are completed. All first 3-round draft picks have been included. Rounds 4 to undrafted free agent, I've just included the notable guys. At 35,000 subscribers, I will be releasing these for you guys for $0. We're getting real close to that point right now. You look around, people are charging $5, and the free rosters aren't very good. If you agree or disagree with any of the ratings you see, feel free to leave a comment section below. Don't be an asshole. If you're not an asshole, I probably will take your opinion for it. I want to get the diehards of every single team that's not going to be biased to try to make the most accurate rosters for when you guys get these released. So, without further ado, jumping with the Rams. At the quarterback spot, we gave Jared Goff a 73 overall, starting hot out of the gate. But you can't convince me that you can't give him anything higher than a 73. I think I was even being generous here. Last season, played in 7 games, went 0-7, had just over 1,000 yards, 5 touchdowns, 7 picks. Not very good. I'm not going to be a Carson Wentz fan, a Philadelphia Eagle fan, talking down on you Rams fans, just because it seems at face value we have the much better quarterback because man, Jared Goff has the arm talent to be an NFL starter. It's just, I think, a question about the weapons around him. You got Todd Gurley, fine. Was the offensive line good last year? No. Did you have any real legit wide receivers last year? I mean, Kenny Britt, Tavon Austin's a gimmick. No one really knows what he's going to be. So I think as long as they continue to build around Jared Goff, they have no more, 9-7 bullshit Jeff Fisher. You got the new young blood in there, McVay. I think things should be turned around. At least worst case scenario, you still should be optimistic, Rams fans. I'd give Goff another. If he still plays like trash next season, then maybe you could get a little bit closer towards that ledge and jump off it. But there's still optimism that he can turn around, and I'm very interested to see how he performs this season. We have Manny with a 62. Look at the running back spot. We gave Todd Gurley an 83 overall. Assuming that David Johnson is turning 25. I know he's 24 in this game. Assuming he turned 25, Todd Gurley, in my opinion, my hot take, is the best running back under 25 in the NFL. He's an unbelievable athlete. Everything that you want in a running back. He improved his hands and his ability to pass catch out the backfield last year because really there's no weapons at all in that Rams offense. And he still finished with 1,200 yards from scrimmage and 6 touchdowns with what may be the worst. I'd say the Rams were bottom 5 in terms of worst offensive lines, especially when it came to run blocking. As a Todd Gurley fantasy football owner, I would tune into Rams games, and it was pathetic. He literally was getting hit behind the line of scrimmage every single play. Look, very reminiscent. I had flashbacks of me in high school. All right, that's how bad that offensive line was. So we had to give Todd Gurley an 83. Hopefully they did enough. They made some nice moves in addressing the offensive line, and he could have a nice bounce. Dunbar coming over from the Dallas Cowboys. He's a very underrated pass-catching back, seeing him twice a year for the last 2 years. Obviously, he missed a bunch of time last season. But looking back to 2015 and 2014, man, he was real dynamic. The type of guy that if he could stay healthy, I personally think he's an upgrade over Benny Cunningham as the receiving back in this offense. We have Weger here, Wegher, 67, and Malcolm Brown, 67. At fullback, they drafted Sam Rogers out of Virginia Tech. He was the top fullback in this year's draft class, so I figured I'd at least make him an honorable mention of a 62. At the wide receiver spot, we have Tavon Austin, who we gave a 78 overall. Is he a wide receiver? What is this guy? Last year, he had 58 catches for 500 yards, 3 touchdowns, 668 all-purpose yards for 1 touchdown. They use him all over the place. I guess, if you can't... I don't know. He's really a weird guy to talk about. It's like kind of like if you have... If you have 3 quarterbacks, you don't have a quarterback. I kind of think like if you have 2 positions, you're not good at 1 position. So that's kind of how my opinion is on Tavon Austin, but still dynamic. They got Robert Woods from the Buffalo Bills. I think this was a great signing. I think the contract maybe a little pricey in the contract, but you needed to get some more weapons here. You need to recoup, especially because Kenny Britt and Brian Quick have left to free agency. So I like that pickup. They got Cooper Kupp, who I love that draft pick. I think he might have some of the best route running in this year's draft class. He's going to fill an immediate need. They got Josh Reynolds from Texas A&M. Obviously, the heights and weights for some of these guys you need to adjust because of the limitations in the offline player management. That's why these are connected franchise mode rosters. So as soon as you go in, you can tweak the height and the weights. But Josh Reynolds, I like that. Good prospect. Farrell Cooper, again, another guy. I mean, Bradley Marquez, Nelson Spruce, Mike Thomas. I mean, Spruce really stood out for them in the last preseason. I remember I was watching Hard Knocks. He looked pretty damn good. Farrell Cooper is definitely a guy with some upside. Reynolds, I mean, lots of upside here. Unfortunately, for a guy like Jared Goff, you don't really need a lot of upside. You need guys that can come in and help you right away, and hopefully they can get that from Robert Woods at least. Down to the tight end spot, we got Cody Harkey here, the converted fullback now as a tight end, to pair with Higbee and Gerald Everett. Gerald Everett's a guy I want to wait and see. I mean, some people are undecided if he's going to be a tight end or wide receiver in this offense. I'm sure those of you that are diehard Rams fans know what the upside is with him right now. But because, second round pick, 69, I think he's the second highest grade we gave for a second round pick because we're trying to be generous here to the Rams. It's just how my ratings work. I assume maybe after the preseason where he's not just a second round pick, we kind of see what he looks like. I can tweak these ratings just a little bit more. But I think Higbee has a lot of upside. Would have went a couple rounds earlier if he didn't have the off-the-field stuff last season, which was total bullshit. And I saw it with him, like he was like defending his girlfriend or something like that. And then you got Harkey, who's a good combination of decent hands and in run blocking. Offensive line, they got Andrew Whitworth coming over the Cincinnati Bengals. Graded out very, very well for Pro Football Focus, so we gave him a 92 overall. Even though he's 34 years old, I like this move. I think the Rams' offensive line, they're the kind of place that you need to, you don't necessarily have to go young. You don't necessarily have to rebuild the offensive line. If you get a couple Band-Aids that are Andrew Whitworth quality, that is exactly what you need to help with Jared Goff's development. He's not going to develop if he constantly is getting swarmed every time he drops back. I like that move, getting Andrew Whitworth. You have Darrell Williams and Pace Murphy. Great name there. Left guard, we have Greg Robinson moving from tackle to left guard. 71 overall. I mean, maybe the switch from tackle to guard will help him out. At center, you have John Sullivan, another veteran, 74 overall. Was really, really good a couple years ago with the Minnesota Vikings. So still, I like that pick. Nice veteran move. We got right guard Roger Saffold, 79 Pro Football Focus. You think they had him as a left tackle last year. Gave him a 78.4. So moving back to guard, we're giving him 79. I think that's a fair grade. And at right tackle, we have Rob Havenstein with a Pro Football Focus rating of a 77. So we give him a 77. So hopefully all these pieces, for at least Todd Gurley's sake, can help them set the tone at the line and open up some holes for Todd Gurley to not just get tackled behind the line of scrimmage every goddamn play. We also have Isaiah Battle. We have Andrew Donnell. Lots of solid depth here for the Rams on the offensive line. Maybe not really. Left defensive end, we're going with Ethan Westbrooks. Currently using OurLads.com for the depth chart. Looks like Ethan Westbrooks is slated to start out there. Last season, I know another guy, just a bit of a rotation, I figure. He had 2 sacks. Had 2 starts, 2 sacks. He also had a 77-yard fumble return to go along with just over 25 tackles. So again, there is some upside there, but a 70, I mean, you're kind of, there's upside. As a base of right now, 2 sacks, get you about a 70, 71. The right defensive end spot, we have Dom Easley. He's currently listed as a defensive tackle. And when I was looking at it, they had Michael Brockers listed as a defensive end. I think they're going to go with Easley as an end versus they go Brockers. There's about a 40-pound weight difference. I assume Easley's put play. If they're going to a 3-4, Easley is much more defensive end than Michael Brockers is, and Michael Brockers is much more of a nose tackle than Dom Easley is. Easley, obviously, is a Florida Gator fan, big fan of him. He had 3.5 sacks, 35 tackles after just getting kind of thrown to the curb by the New England Patriots a year ago. So hopefully big things from him. Eugene Sims here with a 72. I think he had 2 sacks last season. And then we have Morgan Fox, 65. Defensive tackle, we gave Aaron Donald a 97 overall. All-Pro, Pro Bowl last year, 16 starts, 5 pass deflections, 2 forced fumbles, 8 sacks, 47 tackles. A little bit of a down year statistically for Aaron Donald, which is why we took him down from a 98 down to a 97. But when all said and done, I think, as much as I want to throw my boy Fletcher Cox there, it really is, in terms of defensive line, J.J. Watt, Aaron Donald, then everybody else. Fletcher Cox may be the top of the everybody else. But Aaron Donald's an absolute monster. It's going to be interesting to see how you use him in a 3-4. I think with a guy like him, not necessarily going to be the best nose tackle, but I think he's good enough to play as nose tackle, but more so he's versatile. You can put him at both ends. You can pretty much play him everywhere on that line. He's a mismatch nightmare. I think that's probably going to be the plan with him, if I had to guess. I have heard reports that, Wade Phillips sees him as being, he can be a nose tackle. He could do it in this scheme. I think you move him around. I think he's going to be just a weapon. You move around and try to pick on whatever gap is weaker on your opposing team's offensive line. We have Brockers here with an 81. Again, another guy that's really, really serviceable, good against the run. Could be considered a high rating. 81 for a guy that pretty much only contributes against the run. So if you need me to downgrade that, I certainly would be open for that. We have Walker coming over from the line, 72. Purcell coming over from the 49ers, 68. And this guy, oh, don't get me started about this guy. Left side linebacker Connor Barwin coming from the Philadelphia Eagles. We gave him a 77 overall. This guy was a beast as a 3-4 linebacker for us. Last time, really, he had a healthy season at 3-4 linebacker, which was 2 years ago. He had almost 14 sacks. So I like that pickup. He's getting out there in age, but he is really good against the run, too. He gets up and bats a lot of passes down. He's a good fit. We only got rid of him in Philly because we made a scheme fit. He's definitely a 3-4 player. Not great in a 4-3, but a tremendous, tremendous high-character guy. You guys got a good one here in Rams from the Philadelphia Eagles. 463, Grigsby 62. Middle linebacker, we gave Alec Ogletree an 81 overall. Led the team in solo tackles with 98 last year. Had like 130-some tackles, 11 pass deflections, 2 picks, a forced fumble. So it's an 81. Debatably this could be upwards of an 83. But I just remember like a lot of Rams fans. I have a buddy that's a Rams fan. They just shit on him. So I don't know. Maybe the stats lie, and his play is not as great as inclined. So I'll look for an opinion on that. Mark Barron. It will be Mark Barron and Alec Ogletree. That's pretty good in terms of coverage ability. Mark Barron was second on the team in tackles with 90. Had over 100 total tackles. Had a sack. 8 pass deflections, 2 picks as well. I think this is going to be a nice little combination for your 2 middle linebackers. We have right side linebacker Robert Quinn. This is one I'm not so sure about. I don't know. Robert Quinn seems like a guy always should just, be a down lineman, not standing upright as an outside linebacker. We're going to have to wait and see. We have him at 79 because only a couple years ago, he was one of the best edge rushers in the NFL. But this is an experiment that I'm very questionable of. So we have to wait and see. The secondary, we give Trumaine Johnson an 82 overall last season. He had himself 1 interception, 11 pass deflections, 57 tackles. He's getting paid big money because he's been franchise tagged again. I don't know. There's trade rumors if he's going to be there or not. We have to wait and see. But he's still a very solid corner, so I think 82 is a fair starting point. They got Nickel Roby-Coleman coming over from the Buffalo Bills. A surprise cut. Great nickel corner. 77 overall. Gets plenty of pass deflections. Great athlete. We have E.J. Gaines here with a 74 overall. Last season, E.J. Gaines had 10 starts where he had 7 pass deflections and over 50 tackles. Again, not too bad. They got Kayvon Webster coming over from the Denver Broncos following Wade Phillips. He's a great special teamer. Nice solid pick. Hill, 65, and Countess, 64. At free safety, we have Mo Alexander, who we gave an 82 overall. Last season, he at free safety had 14 starts. He had 2 interceptions. He had 4 pass deflections, a sack, and 50 total tackles. So plenty of upside here. Kind of underrated and really, I would say, exceeded expectations last season. So that's why I gave him 82. Cody Davis with a 67. Strong safety, according to our lads, LaMarcus Joyner will be making the move to strong safety, which makes sense. I always thought him as one of the better tackling corners in the NFL. And with getting Nickel Roby-Coleman taking over that slot role, you could probably have some flexibility moving Marcus Joyner around. They no longer have T.J. McDonald. So I think Joyner can step in and fill that void. And, 81 is basically his transition. We made him from a corner to a strong safety. The automatic grade was an 81. So I figure we'll just keep it at that. See what happens with this positional change. I like the move. I always like moving corners to safety roles. Devin McCourty worked out. Malcolm Jenkins worked out. So maybe this will work out here for the Rams. We have Christian with a 63 and Isaiah Johnson with a 61. At kicker, we have Greg the Legatron, an 85. And at punter, Johnny Hecker, the best punter in the NFL, a 92 overall. And I was thinking, should I just make him a 99? That's how much, him and Justin Tucker, for punters and kickers on special teams, are really kind of that much better than the rest of the league. But, because they're special teamers, we didn't want to overvalue them. So a 92 here for Johnny Hecker. So there you go, guys. Those are your Madden 18, Madden 17 rosters. 35,000 subscribers. They will be released. If you agree or disagree with any of the ratings you've seen in this video, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. And until next time, it's C4 saying peace